On September 12, 1940, 4 teenagers are exploring a cavity in the Lascaux woods in Dordogne. Leading this small expedition is Marcel Ravida, a local boy. He has no idea that he has just entered one of the most amazing prehistoric caves. An incredible discovery that is largely due to chance, but also to the curiosity of a dog named Robo and the boldness of his owner. Here is the story. September 8, 1940. A sad summer comes to an end in France. In June, the country surrendered to Germany, giving up the northern half and the Atlantic coast to the occupier, while the collaborationist regime of Vichy was established in the south. Bordered by the demarcation line, the Dordogne is in the free zone. And that day, Marcel Ravida, a 17-year-old apprentice mechanic, is walking in the hills that surround his village of Montignac. With him, his dog Robo is having a blast, chasing a bird and bringing a stick back to his owner. In short, he's enjoying the fresh air. When suddenly, a rabbit crosses the path and Robo takes off after it. Gibier is very agile. He weaves through the grass and disappears into a hole. The dog follows it and vanishes as well. Marcel gets closer. The entrance is blocked by an uprooted tree. He calls his dog, Robo, Robo. There's no answer. Marcel is worried. He is very attached to his dog. What if it was a fox's den? What if Robo got trapped? Fortunately, the dog comes out unscathed, but empty-handed. Marcel then throws a few stones into the hole, just in case the rabbit is still hiding in there. But something catches his attention, the sound the stones make as they fall. Then, he leans in, trying to squeeze through. But he can't manage it. The passage is too narrow for his broad shoulders. Something's gnawing at him. After all, he has heard that the hills in the area are riddled with tunnels. It supposedly leads to the underground of the Lascaux Manor, the neighboring castle. Some even talk about a hidden treasure. It's late, he has to go home, but he promises himself to come back for a more in-depth exploration. 4 days later, on September 12th, equipped with a bit more gear, he runs into 3 friends along the way. There they are. Jacques Marcel, 15 years old, also from Montignac, accompanied by Simon Coinsa, 15 years old, refugees in the area, and Georges Agnel, 16, on vacation at his grandmother's. They just visited some young girls who are refugees coming from Lorraine. They are being hosted at the farm of the Lascaux Manor. And here they are, wandering around looking for a new activity. Marcel then tells them about his trunk and the treasure. And here comes the young little gang arriving at the base of the uprooted tree. A few knife strokes, and the entrance is clear, allowing Marcel to slip into the passage. He descends a narrow tunnel and finds himself at the top of a pyramid of goals. Marcel rushes down it and calls out to his buddies. They hesitate a bit, but one by one they join him. No way they're going to be called cowards. Yet, they're not feeling very brave. The high humidity suddenly dropped the temperature, contrasting with the warmth outside. And the boys only have makeshift oil lamps with them, which weakly illuminate the walls of the room, where they move almost by feel. Who knows? A wild beast could have made its home there, lurking and ready to pounce on the young ones. Who will hear their cry? Who will come to find them here? So, to boost their courage, they joke around, brush against each other to scare themselves and puff themselves up. As the gallery becomes narrower, he brushes against the walls and notices that the marks decorating the surfaces have astonishing shapes. But yes, looking closer, these are animals that have been drawn here. Orses aurochs bison. This time, the teenagers are no longer snickering. In silence, they gaze at the walls and ceiling of what will later be called the Sistine Chapel of Prehistory. Protected from runoff and outside air by a thick layer of clay, the drawings in the cave are in remarkably good condition. Extremely numerous, mostly figurative, they are of great beauty. What makes this cave a unique place, both a work of art and an incredible testimony of prehistoric times. But for Marcel, Jacques, Georges, and Simon, the discovery is first and foremost a lot of fun. And then they dive into a fabulous treasure hunt. The cave's passages are explored far and wide. Here, ibex, deer, felines. And there, geometric shapes. They only interrupt their exploration once they reach the edge of what seems to be a cliff. Back home, Marcel is full of excitement. Even if he didn't find a secret tunnel connected to the castle, he definitely stumbled upon a treasure. But as they promised each other, neither he nor the others say a word about their discovery. The next day, the four boys return to the cave. This time they equip themselves with ropes. Marcel, ever so fearless, is the first to descend into the hole where they stopped the day before. An 8-meter deep void, at the bottom of which he discovers the most enigmatic fresco of Lascaux, the moving drawing of a hunter with a bird's head being charged by a bison, which itself is disemboweled by a spear. Near them, the drawing of a stick topped with a bird, and in the distance, a rhinoceros turning its back to the scene. In the following days, Marcel's daily escapades start to raise his parents' suspicions. Surprised to see him come back home covered in dust, he questions him, and Marcel tells the story. On September 16th, the teacher, Léon Laval, is let in on the secret. Thinking it's a joke, he sends a former student, Georges Estreguil, who brings him back some sketches of what he saw. Very intrigued, Laval descends into the cave himself on September 18th and immediately realizes the phenomenal significance of the discovery. The rumor then spreads like wildfire, and a joyful excitement grips the small village of Montignac. Everyone wants to go see the hole. Sketches are made and presented to Abbé Breuil, the specialist at the time in cave art. He visits the site himself on September 21st and authenticates it. Lascaux is indeed a prehistoric cave, and its drawings are major pieces of rock art. The team, captivated by the site's pictorial richness, begins to take initial measurements. Almost 700 frescoes, but also 2,000 engravings adorn the walls. The reputation of the cave grows, and the first visitors, scholars, or mere curious onlookers come to admire it. But be careful, Marcel Ravida jealously guards his treasure. That winter, he sets up his tent in front of the entrance with Jacques and charges 2 francs. The visit. At that time, you still have to crawl behind him in the narrow passage to get in. Frescoes are earned, and their access keeps that little scent of adventure that Marcel loves so much. After the war, the fame of Lascaux skyrockets. Opened to the public in 1948, after extensive renovation work, the cave has Marcel and Jacques as its official guides. There are more than 1,000 visitors a day, sometimes coming from very far away to admire the most astonishing archaeological discovery of the 20th century. What pride for Marcel to unveil these drawings that had been hidden for so long. And we now know that they were created 17 or 18,000 years ago. Unfortunately, Lascaux quickly falls victim to this success. By the end of the 1950s, Marcel reports the presence of the first green algae that are corroding the walls. It's mainly the excess carbon dioxide or artificial lighting that are responsible for this. And then, There are also these careless visitors who touch the frescoes or carve their names into the walls. Lascaux is in danger. On April 17, 1963, André Malraux, then Minister of Culture, decides to prohibit public access. 20 years later, in 1983, a facsimile of Lascaux is open to the public. Lascaux II, he proposes a replica of the most representative parts of the cave. We have to wait until 2016 to see a reconstruction, 100% faithful to the original Lascaux IV. The drawings and engravings are reproduced to the millimeter according to the techniques and art of the Cro-Magnon people. "200 meters away, the Lascaux cave is now at peace. Only a few researchers are allowed to enter, perhaps rediscovering the unique atmosphere that Marcel Ravida experienced. On September 12, 1940, it was a face-to-face encounter between man and his 20 ancestors.